Let's begin the story. Puss in Boots. When the old miller passed away, his youngest son was left with nothing but a scruffy orange tomcat. Dejected, the young man sat by the dusty mill, wondering how he would ever survive. But this was no ordinary feline. Standing confidently on his hind legs, the cat spoke with a smooth, charismatic purr. "Do not despair, young master," he declared. "Provide me with a sturdy sack and a pair of fine leather boots tailored for my paws, and I swear you shall find your fortune vastly improved." Bewildered but hopeful, the young man spent his last few coins outfitting his remarkable companion. Looking quite dashing in his new, polished footwear, Puss in Boots ventured into the dense, emerald woods. Using his sharp wits, he easily trapped the plumpest partridges and swiftest hares. Instead of bringing them home, however, Puss strode directly to the king's magnificent palace. Sweeping his feather hat in a dramatic bow, he presented the catches to the monarch. "Sire," Puss announced grandly, "please accept this humble offering from my master, the extraordinarily wealthy Marquis of Carabas." The king, enchanted by the eloquent cat, graciously accepted the gifts, completely unaware that the Marquis was actually a penniless miller's son. Months passed, and the gifts continued until the king believed the Marquis was the most generous lord in the land. One afternoon, Puss learned the king and his beautiful daughter were taking their carriage by the river. Rushing back, Puss ordered his master to undress and plunge into the freezing water. Just as the royal carriage approached, the cat shrieked, "Help! The Marquis of Carabas is drowning. Thieves have stolen his clothes." The king's guards immediately pulled the shivering young man ashore and draped him in luxurious, jewel-encrusted garments. Mesmerized by his suddenly regal appearance, the princess fell instantly in love. Leaving his master to ride in the carriage with the royals, Puss sprinted eagerly ahead down the dusty road. Whenever he encountered peasants working in the sprawling, golden wheat fields, he issued a terrifying threat. "Listen well," he hissed, drawing his tiny rapier. "When the king passes and asks who owns these lands, you must say they belong to the Marquis of Carabas, or you shall answer to my blade." Terrified of the fierce, talking cat, the peasants readily agreed. As the king's carriage rolled past, he marveled at the seemingly endless, magnificent estates owned by his new favorite nobleman. Puss's final destination was a towering, Gothic castle owned by a malevolent, shape-shifting ogre, the true owner of the lands. Approaching the monster, Puss feigned innocent admiration. "I have heard of your terrifying magical prowess," the cat purred, "but surely you cannot transform into something as small and insignificant as a mouse." Roaring with laughter, the arrogant ogre immediately shrank down into a tiny, scuttling rodent to prove his power. In a flash of orange fur and sharp claws, Puss pounced, swallowing the ogre whole before the creature even realized his fatal mistake. The magnificent castle was now ownerless. Barely a moment later, the king's heavily adorned carriage pulled into the castle's grand courtyard. Puss stood at the massive iron gates, bowing low. "Welcome, Your Majesty, to the ancestral home of the Marquis of Carabas," he declared proudly. Overwhelmed by the young man's apparent immense wealth and undeniable charm, the king offered him the princess's hand in marriage that very evening. A grand, joyous feast was held in the ogre's former hall. The miller's son found boundless wealth and true love, and the brilliant Puss in Boots never had to chase another common mouse for the rest of his remarkably luxurious life. Thanks for watching. Puss in Boots.